Yo, what is up, YouTube? We're gonna be looking at some kind of like self-hosted stuff. Good evening. What up, South Pride, Tony? We're gonna be looking at some cool stuff. The YouTube streaming studio got kind of like a revamp. It looks goofy now. We're going to be talking about building an intranet. So I asked the audience short notice, and man, honestly. So I built these. I got these Intel GK whatever PP poo poo retard things, mini PCs. A while, like maybe a couple months ago, and they just been sitting there. And I was like, at first I was going to do a Proxmox cluster, which I've done before. And by the way, it is not fun because when something fucks up, it's not fun. When you're doing a cluster with Proxmox, you need three. You need three nodes. And you can do it in two nodes, but it's even worse. But if one of those nodes goes down, it's a bitch to get fixed. It's like a bitch to fix it. So like you gotta I don't know. It was just, and then unconjoining those nodes back to single nodes, not fun. There's really no purpose for me to do it anyways. I mean, I have a NAS for like the storage. I would allocate more resources, but it's I'm not right. I don't need production. It was a cool learning experience, but it was not fun to undo. I had to undo it. And I'm probably going to just set up Proxmox backup server, which is pretty sick with the other one. Because I have a nice stack, and I can do Kubernetes on this. I do like fucking around with Kubernetes a little bit. But we're going to be doing something called an intranet. We're going to make this I originally was going to do it on a Raspberry Pi, but that didn't work out as much. And it wasn't fun. So I'm thinking of some very easy to self-host stuff in order for people to kind of get in the motion of setting stuff up. This isn't to publicly host. This isn't really to do for, how I would say it. It's not really for how to make it like super intuitive. And complicated, and it's not to replace stuff. It's supposed to be as if the internet goes out, you have things that you need to, that you need personally to constantly run, regardless if the internet is there or not. Especially with the invasive Proxmox, Prox Bussy is what they say actually. The problem is when the internet goes out and you don't have a way to reach stuff, you kind of run into a predicament where you're not going to necessarily be able to access stuff if it requires you to have digital ID. And because it might have you have digital ID, you want to sovereign yourself as much as possible. Now, how you get that is if you can financially purchase one of these, your best bet is to get a mini PC. Now, I was conflicting with the why'd you pin my Proxmox chat seconds? I have no idea, because I'm retarded and I missed. I don't have precision. I don't have a dialed-in mouse. Now, setting up Proxmox is really easy. I can't really show it because it's a little awkward, but to pretty much do it, you just download the ISO, you put it on there, you flash it, and it's there is an issue that you will run into if you're doing it on a single disk. You have to do this. So I just got this solved. Clippy together strong for real. Clippy gang for real. I might get a new profile at some point again. I'm just lazy. So at first, this will use up all your storage for whatever reason. I have 16 CPUs, which is more than enough. I have 32 gigs of RAM, so if anyone's to buy this for me, they're on sale right now for $1,500. Massive deal. By the way, I upgraded this fucking RAM right before, like, just months ago, just no reason. What distro is Proxmox based on? Unfortunately, Debian. Oh, I fucking hate it. But it's probably for LTS support. A lot of like commercial stuff do because they don't want to fucking do rolling release. I don't know. But the good thing is Proxmox is you can host whatever you want, aka Alpine. Now, if you want to do super resource less intensive stuff, I love Proxmox. I got 72 cores, 256 gigs of RAM across 3 nodes. Fuck you! All that RAM you get to have! You could sell that for multiple Proxmox. Yeah, I love Proxmox. I was just talking about how I did host 3 nodes as a cluster. I don't need it. It's kind of silly for me. Unless I had my 3 nodes in 3 different places where they were all on their own separate power supply. I just have no purpose for it. I did it, didn't care for it. I just run Kubernetes in my Proxmox cluster, and I might set up a Proxmox backup server on top of it. So definitely super easy. Containers are awesome. And now you can do Docker, I think, natively or something. There's some new features now that are really awesome if you're in the beta. Containers are super cool. LXC containers, you can do nesting in them. You can actually get like more power, more bang for your buck. So when you're setting up your node, you might run into. Can you do a disk like setup with multiple Proxmox for faster Gen 2 update? Probably. I don't see why not. Maybe. Can you do a disk like setup? I mean, you can set up as many Proxmox as you can do clustering. There's also Ceph. I think is Ceph is a unit distributed storage system divided for like, which is kind of cool. I do want to set up Ceph someday. Like, sorry for interrupting. Do you use a VIP with your K8 cluster? I use K3. I used to use VIP, but I switched to Metal LB. I think is the same thing. If I'm not mistaken. I did use VIP when I first set it up. Of course, I think everyone used VIP. What I use? No, not Metal LB. Kemp. I use Kemp. I used Kemp Load Balancer, the software. And then I did use VIP for it. I've used a couple. God, I haven't touched VIP in a long time. VIP, K8. Kube VIP, yeah. Kube VIP. When I first found this, I was like, wow, this is so fucking crazy. But I will say that Kubernetes is super overkill for most people. It's cool. It's a cool learning. If you're going to learn it, absolutely it's cool, but it's massive overkill. For faster updates, I would recommend caching the update locally and pointing your servers to the 3 servers there, or use Ceph, but with the same disk. Yeah, it is overkill. And when I first set it up, I ran into a lot of just unnecessary issues. I ran Longhorn for a while. If anyone's touched Kubernetes, they know storage is a fucking nightmare. Longhorn was kind of cool, but it fucked everything. It fucked everything up. And then I did hypervise. I touched Harvester for a long time. Not Harvester. What's the name? Rancher. I used Rancher for a long time. It was cool. And for fast updates, I'll recommend caching the update locally. And yeah. Have you tried? No, I want to try Talos. Talos. I've never set it up, and I would like to. It looks cool. Talos. You're talking about Talos FS? No, wait. I'm thinking of Tahoe. I don't know what Talos is. I'm thinking of Tahoe. No, I've been learning that, and it's great. The Kubernetes. Ooh. I'm thinking of Tahoe. LFS. Ignore me. The Kubernetes operating system. API managed, fast deployment, simple upgrade, fewer headaches, no SSH, no patching, no package manager, no configuration manager tools. Declarative configuration. Desired configure with one YAML file, no manual configuration or drift. Everything is nice. This is kind of based. Cloud native, minimal as fuck. Oh, nice. Takes the head. That's why I like K3s because it's less of a headache. Oh, nice. I can run it in bare metal or in a VM and have Kubernetes clusters in minutes. Based. I actually tried. I did do a couple of things with traffic. That was kind of cool. Traffic seems kind of overkill too. Like I've used it and I was like, I don't need it. And then like I know a lot of people want to set up SSL on like their local area network. I don't really care, to be honest. But I did some cool stuff with it. What's the system requirements? Yo, control plane only 2 gigs. Nice. 4 gigs based. Traffic is overkill. I like it. Yeah, that's awesome. Requires less than 100 meg of space, but its ephemeral partition is used to store, pull image containers, work directory, so on. Nice. What is the storage platform used if you don't use? I think that's what it was. Metal LB, Gen 2 and derivatives have a software named Sandbox filter syscalls for secure sandboxing of a program. Oh, nice. Based actually. For production, it's more efficient to dedicate a smaller for the Talos end station itself in addition to the workload storage. Seems pretty cool. Kubernetes guide section, practical and best practice for running Kubernetes on top of. So I could install this on bare metal, and then while the Talos and Omni section for focus on installation, configuration, and lifecycle management, this section speaks for the Kubernetes specific pieces you'll need in real clusters. Nice. Deploy. This is cool. Pod security. Nice. Okay. Quick start. The easiest way to try Talos is by using the CLI to create a cluster on a machine with Docker installed. Sick. Pretty much deploy the cluster. Oh, destroy the cluster. If you're using Docker Desktop on Mac OS, it will make a lot of people use KAS. Later, Billy. "15 minutes. Brew install. Talos cluster setup overview boot, configure, apply, connect, and bootstrap. Nice. This seems cool. I'd like to mess around with this. Seems kind of based. Boot into your machine. Oh, you can do this on. Hold on. Create a variable for your control plane's node IP address, replacing your control IP with the actual. Oh, okay. So I put copy the IP address displayed on each machine console, including the control plane work node you've created. Oh, nice. Export. If you have worker nodes, store their IP addresses in a bash array. Replace each worker IP with a place. Nice. Unmount the ISO. Learn about installation. Generate cluster configuration. Apply configuration. Bootstrap. Nice. This is awesome. Deploy a metric server. Explore the plan your production. Very cool. Just like Kubernetes in general, a very overkill, but cool. I did the first thing I think I ever deployed in Kubernetes cluster was Minecraft. Actually, of course, Minecraft. It always should be Minecraft. And then I did some other kooky stuff. I do see a lot of people going like, I'm doing Docker, guys. No more. All right. So we're going to create a virtual machine first. Oh, damn. We're going to go to Ubuntu. Now, when you're setting up your intranet and you're trying to be as minimal as possible, you want to think about, in the back of your brain, what do I rely on the most? You could even, again, go as far as your DNS as well. But you have to remember DNS isn't a privacy thing. It's more of a security thing. And I will say that it would be better to download this and update it as much as possible, but always prepare for it to be eventually out of service. So pick the long-term, the LTS version, even though I'm against LTS on a fundamental level, because LTS, in my opinion, is garbage, and that's just, how I perceive it. But if you're in a section where there's no internet, and you have resources that you need to reach, whether it be XYZ, or if you want to self-sustain for as long as possible, you can even just look up statistics, like how many movies can, say, like 5 years be in space. How many movies can 5 years take? How many movies can I watch in 5 years? Like, just average. The number of movies you watch by depends on your viewing. Estimated average person watches around 50 movies per year, which would be approximately 250 movies over 5 years. So say the internet goes down, it becomes unusable, or if just they start requiring ID for X, Y, and Z, and you might be looking at it like, oh, that you're crazy, I'm crazy or anything. But Australia, quite literally and quite actually, just already did this. Australia made it mandatory for people under 16. Mm-hmm. Under 16 to give their ID, or they can't have the fuck. They can't access YouTube or anything. They can't make their own YouTube account, I believe. Which you might think that, that's cool, but December 10th, Australia began implementing the Online Safety Amendment, Social Media Minimum Age Act of 2024, which legally bans users under the age of 16 from masking most social media sites. This landmark legislation is first of its kind globally, requiring platforms like Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Look, we can all say that, maybe that sounds cool on paper and in theory that, yeah, kids probably should touch grass and not just be online. But then again, this is coming from people that were chronically online at 6. I mean, I was chronically online at 16. I know tons of people that were. It's not something unique to this generation. It's just we have I guess more of a mobility aspect of it. My biggest problem is, how do you know someone's 16 without asking for their verification, their ID? Can't I just lie? The law mandates social media companies take reasonable steps to prevent under 16s from creating and maintaining accounts, which penalize up to $49 million for non-compliance. Platforms must use alternative verification methods beyond government-issued IDs, such as open bank accounts, Connect ID, which is insane, or facial age estimation to comply with law. Now, what if like Benjamin Button happens IRL or something? You know what I mean? It's just ludicrous. You can't do this to the internet. The internet is a very free and decentralized thing in general, but it's pretty free place. I mean, libraries are becoming less of a thing, maybe, and the fact that people are having less access to information is not a good thing for society. I equate the internet to the library. That's all it is. Now you could MKG1GK server. You could buy these. Oh, MGK1 server. GMK1 mini PC. GMK mini PC. Very inexpensive. Well, maybe not with RAM prices now. Maybe we'll get lucky. So $300. 16 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs, and a terabyte of storage. That's a lot. That's enough for pretty much anything, to be honest. Man, them RAM prices be really fucking these up. If you want to get, that must have. Let's see how much RAM this has. 64 gigs of RAM. It's probably charging for the RAM. These aren't like super inexpensive. 32 gigs, $450. You know, for $450, you can buy 32 gigs of RAM, or you can just buy a whole PC, a whole server. So 1 terabyte SSD, it's expandable. Definitely do it. Think about it. I think it's dual slot. If you can afford that, do that. Then buy just a cheap router or something with OpenWRT. OpenWRT also makes their own router. You could buy it from them. It's another like $100. So for $500 and a terabyte of storage, you got something that you can put stuff on. So we're going to get to that. We're first going to create a VM, but we first got to upload an ISO image. So with Proxmox, you're going to select a file. You're going to go to your recent downloads. Proxmox, Ubuntu desktop. Damn. We're going to go home, downloads, Linux ISOs. I could have sworn I had a Ubuntu. Damn you, Ubuntu, for lying to me. Nope. Don't know what they're asking. Don't care. We're just going to do this. Oh, no, I want to keep that. Thanks to Crucial and Samsung, price went up big time. Fuck yeah, man. And thanks AI. Thank AI too. Fuck them too. Fuck Sam Altman. Fuck AI. Now you could put local AI in this, but I thought about it and I was like, nah, I'm good. Where the fuck my download, bro? Oh, there we go. So we're going to here. And then, yeah. You know Peter Thiel has money in Brave? Peter Thiel has money in a lot of things. That doesn't... You might as well just not use the internet, buddy. Peter Thiel? He puts so much money everywhere, it's just you might as well just not touch the internet. Brave offers The literally and the thing is, companies can take grants from anybody. They're not going to refuse money. You'd be retarded. You'd be insane. I use Duck in Mulvad browser. Mulvad browser. It's based on no, it's based on Firefox. Firefox is a shithole. If you want to talk about real shithole, Firefox takes money from Google. Firefox got Perplexity now in their browser. I mean, you want to. We could split hairs about the internet all the time, the whole time. Like, for all we know, a Nazi could have made NeoCat. What do you call it? Nano, my favorite text editor. I still use it. I don't care. I use like DuckDuckGo's cool. I mean, they did that shitty thing with Microsoft Bing and Mulvad based, but that browser just doesn't really do anything for me. Mulvad is Tor based. No, I'm only looking for answers. No debates. You're the one that brought up Brave having Peter Thiel involved. Vim is better. Fuck Vim. I'm a Vim hater. It's not. And what is Tor based on? What is the Tor browser based on? So saying it's Tor based is crazy. Vim and honestly, Vim is. I have no use for Vim, so I don't know how it's better. Like, if I'm just using a text editor, I don't need key bindings to fucking edit text files. So right here, you're gonna upload the file. Okay, Tor based on knowledge helps. Tor's based on Firefox. Are you retarded? That was the whole point. That it shouldn't have been Firefox because its sandboxing is less superior to Chromium, to Chrome in general. Vim is easier to move through directories, in my opinion. I guess I am. I was not aware. Yeah, I mean, we only have a select amount of browsers. We have Gecko, and browser engines, and browsers in general. We don't. This is like the joke. Wait, it's all Chrome. Always has been. Like, you know, the guy pointing a gun at the astronaut. Wait, it's all made of Chrome. Always has been kind of meme. Because there's no other options. Building a browser and an engine is like very difficult, and it's not. It's not. You can use Tor on whatever you want. The Tor browser bundle is just bundled together. You can use Tor on any browser. Richard Stallman does this, but it's ill-advised because when you use a different browser, you're going to have a different resolution. You're going to have a different. You might have dark mode on. You might have a different screen size. And because of that, you are fingerprinting yourself and you are hurting yourself and somewhat de-anonymizing yourself. That's why the Tor browser bundle comes bundled as one thing, based on one thing. They tell you not to change anything. Your advice is appreciated. Oh yeah, no, not a problem. No, man, it's no hate here. All love and respect. I personally, I'm waiting for Ladybird. I want Ladybird to excel 110%. We need another browser that's just as secure as the sandboxing with Chrome, and we need a better browser that makes it more efficient. That isn't based on Chrome and isn't based on Gecko, and I think Apple's is WebKit, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, where are you, Ubuntu? There we go. I'll put your temporary. Make sure there's enough free space. Oh, okay. There we go. The updates get me excited. Based. I'm waiting for Ladybird as well. Yeah, I hope Ladybird succeeds. We need something that, but I don't want to sacrifice security for just having another browser. You know what I mean? And I'm not surprised. Peter Thiel's a therampist. A therampist? Philanthropist? You know what I'm saying. You know the word I'm using. Philanthropist. You know the word where they like to spend money to make world better? Yeah, that word. But that's the point. He's going to throw money at. Did you know Matthew McConaughey? This one's going to blow your mind. Matthew McConaughey and Ryan Seacrest are huge investors and board members of fucking 1Password. Think about that one. That one should just blow your mind out of the water, because it made me fucking like, I'm like, what? Ryan Seacrest and fucking Matthew McConaughey, or sorry, who's the guy from Mint? That is Ryan Seacrest? Yep. That's crazy. Why the fuck do they have a stake in 1Password? But apparently they just take their money and just throw it into stuff. I wouldn't even call them tech bros, to be honest. I think they're bored and have money and they want to make more. They're like, guys, I'm bored and I have money. So, after you we're going to create a virtual machine. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it offline. We're just going to call it offline backup, offline intranet. Now, here's the cool thing is once you have a router, you don't need to set this up. Now, you could add to high availability, HA, if you want, which is nice. If you have a high availability cluster. Again, this is to make sure that you are doing everything as clean as possible. If you want to set up your own DNS server on your router to make sure that you have 100% full control, that is completely possible, especially if you needed to hand out DHCP leases like to your IP addresses internally on your intranet, and you need to make sure that you want to cache everything and etc. etc. You can even use Pi-hole or Tectanium as a way to help doing local domains. You can have it as your where you can register like domains, and you don't have to type in IP addresses. It's really up to you. So we're gonna do here 3 gigs, and then storage system. That's fine. That can stay pretty much all the defaults are pretty okay. I have noticed. So we're gonna go to big balls. QEMU format does not work for some reason ever for me. So I just do raw disk image. We're gonna give this let's say we're in a scenario. Let's give it 450 gigs. 55. Give it as much as you want, but you want to be conscious because you don't want to bottleneck your system in any way. You don't want to go over the maximum. Again, you can always add resources later. I would say I have 4 cores available. We're going to go with 1 core. Obviously, I can do all 16 cores. We're going to do it with 1 socket. And I'm going to pick 5 cores because I want enough headroom for everything. And then on the RAM side, because I have 32 gigs, I'm going to do 16 gigs of RAM. About half, which is more than enough. Your firewall, you can keep that up if you want. You can pick the internet however you want. And then if everything looks good, I always hit start after creating and then finish. So after you do all this and you get it started, it's really quick, especially on an SSD. You're going to pop this open. Try to install Ubuntu server. Now, obviously, you want to do this all before the internet goes out. I mean, there's probably ways you can definitely do this without the internet, especially if you have the local repos and everything. Locally, I don't see why it would be impossible. Work tomorrow, off to bed. Be well, everyone, by the way. The podcasts are great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining the stream. Have good night's sleep. Make sure to walk your, feed your snail. So obviously we're going to pick English. We're going to pick done. Ubuntu server. You could do a Ubuntu server minimal. This version has been customized to a small runtime footprint, environments where humans are not expected to be logged in. That's another one that you could do. This is going to give your IP address. Obviously it's going to be, your miles is going to vary. And then the mirror location is being tested. You're going to get some mirror locations, blah, blah, blah. This is like super easy to understand. Ubuntu? Yeah. Come on, man. We're doing it for the normies. I would prefer Alpine, but my thing is and obviously it's way more minimal, but I don't want people to configure or something's broken. You know what I mean? Because this is going to be offline. This could be potentially offline for a long term. So you want to make sure that you pick something that's LTS, and it's going to make sure the support is easy to understand. I like using Alpine on my servers personally. Minimal, super easy to understand, but a lot of guides and stuff that are always written for Ubuntu or Debian. Unfortunately, the other worse version. So what I do is you can encrypt the disk with Lux if you want to. I would recommend it. I'm not going to do it in here because this is not going to be the full build for me. I will have a video coming out soon with all the hardware that I used, how I'm going to have it pretty much set up. You could set up a software RAID if you want, or create a volume if you have the option to, if you have multiple disks. Again, you want the least amount of minimal failure rate. So my general suggestion is when you're building something, make it simple. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. I picked a router that has really good support, and I just updated to some beta software. I picked a machine that is not the best in the term of specs, but it works, if kind of thing. And I picked an operating system that just works. Unfortunately, again, I'm not a fan of Ubuntu, but that's not the point. You're going to do your partition. I've always had a good time with X4. I never use ButterFS. ButterFS is dog shit. I hate it. I've never liked it. I've used XFS one time. It's pretty based, but I'm just going to keep it X4. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I don't care. And we're going to create. So it's going to give me 400 and some odd disk space, etc., etc. We're going to continue, and then we're going to name our server. Now, we can name our server whatever we want. We could call it something simple like complexity birth simplicity. I didn't ask to be born. We'll just call this something simple, offline. Agent 42. Hey, no, Agent 47. That's the name of the guy from that one video game. Server name, offline. Pick a username. We're just gonna do like admin. That's fine. Oh, damn it! Forgot. Admin 12. Choose a password. No, we'll just do this. We'll do fed 12. Why won't let me pick F? What the fuck? That's funny. It's a little goofy. Oh, that's why. Damn caps lock. Fed12. Pick whatever username that you're not going to forget. Then a simple password. Remember, this might not work in SSH like as easy as possible. Done. You don't have to do Ubuntu Pro, but make sure you always click this SSH server. You want to be able to SSH. So I'm going to talk about this section real quick. As a user of Ubuntu server for a long time, even though Evil Dojo 6666 just gave me some hate, but my undying public hate for Ubuntu and Debian does exist online, so it is a shock, but I'm doing this for ease of use. Ubuntu server was kind of like the first thing that I've ever used when I got into self-hosting, and I've definitely found better alternatives across the board, but what are you going to do? I would not install a single one of these things. I have installed the Docker version of here, and it's dog shit. I've installed MicroKAS here and Nextcloud. It's dog shit. It's not good. Never had a good time with it. It's caused a lot of problems. So I skip it, and I would recommend everyone else to skip it too. You can just install it yourself. It's kind of like people that use Kali Linux. You can just install the tools yourself. Nobody cares. But I will say, if you want to and you want to take that risk, you're more than welcome to. I would not. Especially when you don't want shit breaking when you can't really go through it. Now, while that goes on there, we'll look at some cool Tor stuff, because that does take a while for it to update. Free the internet. Just dark. Dark web, I think is what it's called. There we go. Wow. Overview. Oh, finally. An onion site. Oh, sorry. There was a problem compiling the installation. Wow, that's weird. Huh. Never seen that before. Did I hear MicroKS? Yeah, Micro K8. Yes, you did. It's very cool. I like the idea of containers. I want to dive into how containers work under the hood. Check out some K3. Oh, I love K3S. That's the one I use. Podman is the only other I use. I actually use. Base K3S, brother. Yeah, because I don't have a use for KAS. It's just too heavy. I mean, Kubernetes is pretty overkill for my use case, to be honest. I like Portainer. I know there's I've tried everything else. I like Portainer. It's just simple. All the enterprise bros are up in KSA's nuts too, right? There's just no purpose for me. I like in my home lab. I don't like to overcomplicate. I've had overkill, overcomplicated stacks. I would say, like I did I used Rancher with Kubernetes. My first Kubernetes cluster, I set up a giant Pi cluster when Pis weren't like fucking $200 a piece. I had a Pi cluster that I set up with Rancher and Longhorn, and I constantly ran into shit, and I wanted to fight someone. Yeah, I mean, people like you and I were like, yeah. That said, I'm a rocking 120 gigs of RAM. You can sell that for a down payment for a house, brother, and it's definitely mostly underutilized. That's awesome. That's a down payment if I ever heard. Yeah, I have like overkill for like my stack. Some of it I just like. It's cool to learn. Like some stuff I'll just do it once and I'll tear it down and then go back to like normal. Use XFCE. I just hate XFCE4. I hate XFCE. I'm an XFCE hater. I like OpenBox. That was the first time I suppose I could throw up KDE at this point. Yeah, definitely. I definitely I got used to XFCE4 because of CubesOS. Because of Cubes, I got used to XFCE. Oh, okay, looks like installation complete. Maybe Ubuntu isn't dog shit. No shit. Why do you hate XV? What's your window manager choice? Plasma. Cubes is based. So on I use KDE Plasma. I will check Plasma. Never heard of it. It's like looks like this. It's like very Windows-ish. Yeah. So I'm actually going to switch to this. It is a sleek, minimal, and thoughtfully crafted desktop shell for Wayland and Quick Shell. So I like how this looks. And I like Wayland. I get why people don't like Wayland. And it was divided between KDE4 and KDE+. Oh, okay. Yeah, XFCE4 has no Wayland. I get why. X11, though, is just insecure. If you want, like, top-level security, Wayland is how you achieve it because Wayland isolates the GPU. Self-hosting? Yeah, for real. My only problem with Wayland is the I guess like the philosophy is kind of like problematic. Yeah, I get it. Wayland is next gen, and it does have its problems. But this one looks cool. This looks cool because I run Void Void Linux right now. I will have to upgrade my shit at some point. Yeah, at some point. No, you might. No, there's people that are like fighting for X11 right now. Like Hyperbola, if you wanted to go down like the rabbit hole of like super like I used Void briefly, but ran into a problem with Musil. Interesting enough, no issues. No issues. It's actually really funny. 0 issues. But I ran Pop OS for a while, and I had nothing but I had 2 issues that made me hate Pop OS with a dying passion, and Ubuntu, and Cosmic Desktop, and it was a nightmare. I was not a fucking fan. I will say that so OpenBox, I don't like telling load managers. OpenBox is pretty nice. It's lightweight. You might like it if you've never used it. It's a manager for the X Windows system. It's a minimalist, highly configurable next-gen window manager. I couldn't build Asprite, which I need for game dev, so I scratched Void. But I go back to it if I use G. You can use glibc with it. Pop OS catching strays for no reason. I just had a bad experience with it, man. And this is why they're the reason I hate ButterFS. Let me see. What's so Python and Void do not get along. I have to create a Python environment in order to use anything Python. So this is probably what it was. As apt, right. I tried upgrading my Musil on a live Void system, and so you can. There's something called there's a repo for Void Linux for non-free software that isn't included in the repository. There was some shit I'm like, I don't know how this works on Void Linux. Wonder if it's a thing. There was some shit that just did not work. So you have to compile it. Probably. There's a Libre version. I amazingly got everything in Asprite's build system to correctly begin the build process, but it got like maybe 80% complete before dying on the thread. P-thread create. Interesting. I've recently installed Void Linux for all of these. Is this you? Is this you, man? Matcha Cat? 2 weeks ago? Not gonna lie, I had no trust this would be so easy at work. Thank you so much. Apparently, you can compile it now, and you don't need to use the Libre version, which you should be using. Nah. Look, there's the Libre version now. The newer Musil ships with the full P-thread suite. Oh, okay. Interesting. This you, man? If Void shipped with newer Musil, shit would be great. Yeah, they are rolling release. That's interesting. Asked again, time to move away from GitHub. Actually, you should use, if you're a true Giga Chad, you should use, yeah, there's some problems that run with Void Linux. Nothing that like has majorly cooked my genes or anything. Nothing that has made me quit. Nothing has made me quit more faster than Pop OS. No offense, Pop OS. No offense to System 76. They're not as bad as I'm making them out to be. I just had fucking just dog shit experience, and I didn't want to go back. Okay, so this shit's up and running. One. All right. We got root. I'm in. So, Do 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 do. There we are. I have 30 tabs open. One of my students uses Arch, a paradigmic who is learning programming to become a software dev. GitLab or GitT? Oh. Thoughts on Arch? Arch is cool. If you like rolling release, I mean, Void is a rolling release. I like rolling release. It's just people say rolling release isn't stable, but it really is. It's just update your shit twice a week. I've had no issue with Arch. I used Arch Linux for the longest. I switched to Arch Linux, and I was on it for a long time. I like it. A lot of Debian's packages are older. Yeah. It's stable, but I don't know. I just don't get the stability thing with Debian. GitLab or GitT? Codeberg. And actually, there's something cooler. I want to set this up once it's possible, once I get some time. And we're actually going to go over that for this local. So, like, if you need to, you should be running your own. You should be running your own code hosting service, if I'm using it right. So there's something called Radical, the Sovereign Forge. We're going to set up something else, but Radical is an open source peer-to-peer code collaborating stack built on Git. Unlike centralized code hosting platforms, there is no single entity controlled. And then for the super giga chads, there is Codeberg, which is actually has ActivityPub based into it, I believe. Git server repository. Yeah. ZFS is easy to get set up on Debian. I was previously on Ubuntu, but I also used Mac OS widget for 10 years. RIP on you on that one. I don't understand the Mac love. I like ZFS, but I've only used it on server infrastructure. I've only used it like in TrueNAS, and it was cool. It's cool. I like it. I've had no problems with it. It's ButterFS and snapshots that I've had a problem with. Might be a skill issue. But this is called Radical. You can run a seed. You can get started. You can download it. You can pretty much be your own decentralized forge, peer-to-peer network. Very based. Yeah, Git server repository. You know what I mean. ZFS was cool. ZFS is cool though. It's a cool copy on write system. There's a new one. I can't remember what it's called. Mac, the Linux, the luxury feel. Yeah, Mac. I have money. Now, what is it? Now people, non-Mac users, can know what RAM prices feel like for Mac users. Where was it? Okay. I was getting paid to make iOS apps from 2011 to 2014. The only reason I was on it, then I didn't have the balls to set up parallels of any of that shit for a long time until I finally got a new box. Yeah, I forget, to develop for Mac, you have to have a Mac Mini. I think you have to have a Mac, right? And you have to pay like a license fee or something of like $100 a year, I believe. So we're going to do some HTOP real quick. Should be the standard. So we have 15 gigs of RAM available. No BTOP in here. Sorry for the tops or the bottoms. I would say the best thing to do is install Portainer. So this has already been updated. You're going to grab some commands from the official doc. It's fine. You do not have to type everything out. Don't fucking listen to everyone. If you type out every single command, your hands will be gay, and you won't enjoy that. And nobody wants to have lame hands. So as long as you inspect it, see what it's saying, and it's from the official website or whatever. If you're like super like paranoid, do it. I don't type everything because it's retarded. I'm all about efficiency. Ooh, what was it again? There was something I did. It's okay. It's not going to hurt you. It's only your server. Nowadays, iOS apps do not matter. Everything is just a web app. I thought they... Well, you're right. Apple is pretty hard code with their code signing, but people do go the long way and build Hackintoshes. Yeah, that's true. I forget the Hackintosh thing. I forgot about the Hackintosh thing. But the thing is, I just don't see the point unless you're like a developer really for Mac. Honestly, I prefer desktop Linux to all three, but Ubuntu and GNOME both fucking suck hard now. That's true. You should look into a more based distro. Do FreeBSD to prove everyone wrong that you can be a FreeBSD user. I use Trent Squill, which is Richard Stallman's favorite Linux distro. I use a Hackintosh person running on Dell laptop. I think I got Mac a version of Mac working in fucking like a virtual machine once, and I was like, I was like, wow, I really don't like this. I don't care for it. But it's a personal. I get why people like. I get why people like. I get why people like Apple. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay that people do. Apple's security is good. I'm never going to say that. I just think this is my only disagreement with them. Fact, Portage originated in FreeBSD. Yeah, it does. It's based on Python, I think, though. Ew. My problem with, I guess, so I'm running, right now, I'm testing Pen2, which is Gen2. But for penetration testing, it's just kind of cool. And it uses OpenBox, which is pretty based. My only problem with Emerge Tech Sync, yeah. My only issue with Mac and Apple is they treat people like babies. They're like, you can't sideload. I've heard of Pen2. Pen2 is based. There was an issue I ran into. Python, of course, fucking wanted to beat the shit out of my computer for about 5 minutes. But after searching, after a couple days, after I stepped away, came back, searched for a couple days, it was a masked package issue, and I had to go through like a slew of commands to like remove it, and then I got it to work. I like Pen2. I think it's awesome. I'm a CubesOS fan, so if you like CubesOS, don't get a 2K monitor like me and read the docs unlike me. Read the docs unlike me. Don't be retarded. And don't get a 2K monitor. I might eat the money and have them send me full HD so I can go back to what do you call it? CubesOS, because I prefer Cubes. I love Cubes. I miss it. Gen 2 base, though. I might actually stick with Gen 2. To Apple's credit, it comes with GCC, Clang, and Python pre-installed. Windows ain't got that. Windows' only claim to fame is nothing really at this point. I can't think of a good thing. Windows is like France. I can't think of a good thing. No, Windows is like Britain. I can't think of a good thing they've ever done. No offense to the British. So, let's see. Then you're going to make sure Docker PS. There's Portainer. 9443, so you can just do whatever your IP address is. WSL2 is okay, but damn if Windows ain't dick rolling Linux. How about VS Code has dominant with how... Yeah, I can't stand VS Code or any idea that... I liked VS Codium, the freer sourced version. So, where is it? What's my IP address? 74. You have to put HTTPS, even if you don't think you have to. 174. 9443. Because if you don't put HTTPS, oh really? Yeah, VS Codium is if you like VS Code, but you don't want the proprietary blobs in it. I like that, and I liked there's another code editor I like. It's based on Rust. Zen. Yeah, Zen, not Zen, but Zen. Zen is pretty cool. So for Portainer, there is no 2FA option, so keep that in mind. So make sure you create a strong and sexy password, from what I understand. You're going to create your user, you're going to be the admin, and you're going to get started. You're going to go right here. You're going to have pretty much nothing. You're going to go to your settings. You're going to go, you can have authentication. You can set up LDAP if you want to. You can do internal authentication message. You can do OAuth. You can do Microsoft Active Directory if you want to set up all that fucking shit. But we're not here to do that. We're not here to look at the high priority of security. You're going to go to app templates, and then you're going to look up, nope. App templates. You can look. This one gives you want to make sure it's somewhat updated. Last year, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, last year, 2 months ago, so 8 months. So it's not super bad. TDLR. You're going to copy this, and then you're going to go back to Portainer, and you're going to put it here. Control V, Control C, Control V. And then you're going to apply the settings. It's going to be a success. Then you're going to go to dashboard, and then you're going to go back to templates, and then you're going to have a bunch of shit. You're going to have 500 apps. Do you need all 500 apps? No. Now, here's the good thing about it. A lot of this stuff is default. You don't have to sit there and think about it. And what you really need to think about is what is important to you. Now, this is why I'm not going to make a pre-built thing for people to be because everyone's use case is going to be different. I tried this on a Raspberry Pi. I tried doing the stuff that I wanted to do, and it did not fucking work because it's limited. The Pi is a limited resource. I think it's cool. I think it's great. But I think people made the right decision by telling me to use a mini PC instead. The only problem I have with this, and I'm saying this from a pure fundamental standpoint, these mini PCs are still bigger than a Pi. So, but I thought this isn't going to be portable. I'm not making a portable network box. I'm making a offline network box. Now, I am getting a box to make it portable, but it's still going to be very stagnant in where it's at. And because it's going to be stagnant where it's at, you need to kind of shove into your idea, what do you love the most? What do you need the most? What do you use the most? Me, I would say, first and foremost, you probably want to capture a lot of the internet. So I think Archive Box is great. You want to show advanced. You want to make sure that it's not going to use, we're going to use 8.1.1.1 and then 444. You can change the ports. It doesn't hurt anyone. It should work. Host, I think I had a problem with this. And you can change this if you want. Deploy the container. Now after it's that simple. You can do custom YAML files. YAML? Is it YAML or YAML? Is it data or data? While that's deploying and not taking a massive shit, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some water. And you can even open up the log files to see what's going on. Even though I changed the fucking port. Alright, I was like, that shouldn't matter now. There we go. Alright, well, that's so I'll be right back. Now, something you also need to consider is power source. Now, if you make this portable, which you definitely can, and I'm going to show how to in the future video, is you can pick a power bank, and that's great. But what would be better is if you picked a power bank that has pass-through charging, so that you could set up some form of solar and keep access to this as much as possible. Now we're going to set up this is going to sound kind of crazy, but what got me really into self-hosting was Raspberry Pis and something called the Pirate Box. Now we're going to do a quick history lesson on the Pirate Box. The Pirate Box was a really cool thing that I got set up one time, and unfortunately it is no longer around. It got forked and then it went away. So the Pirate Box was such a cool concept. There's other things that are similar to it, like the Freedom Box and the Wiki. It discontinued in 2019, by the way, so only like 6 years ago, which is crazy to even think about. But it started in 2011. There was a YouTube channel that got me to find this, and it was super awesome. I don't know why it fucking left, but this was the website that I went to. I was like, oh, what is this? Offline internet. What is offline internet? It's a self-contained and mobile digital collaboration file sharing system inspired by pirate radio and free culture. It was super cool. So you would connect to it. It had an image board. You could have a chat. It had a chat room on it, which was really fucking cool. You could do a lot of things with it, and it was pretty sick. It had a form board. So I wanted to create a script or like vibe code a script out, like maybe that would get me super close to what it is, because I'm not not a fucking developer on that level. Maybe I could just do like scripts, I could just bash script my way through it in general, but that's not the point. Maintaining stuff like that constantly is not super fun. And I would have to constantly maintain it. Probably why they stopped doing it, because of maintenance. I mean, that's why most stuff gets abandoned. But the great thing about open source is it doesn't matter. it can still be continued. It got forked and then that got abandoned. So an abandonment within an abandonment. So definitely keep that stuff like that in mind. Is, you know, support your free and open source software devs. And if you use software, if you use an ounce of free software on a consistent basis, donate to them. It's not about just the money. It's about them being able to allocate more time for it and them think it's not a waste. So just remember that it's not always about them making a living off of it. It's about them seeing, if somebody donates a developer just a small amount of money, it means that someone's using it. And some of these developers don't collect analytics. And if they don't collect a lot of analytics, they don't know if people are using it. So they might not see the vision or the care to continue to do something where they're not seeing people that are using their product. So just remember that $20 Spotify subscription that you're wasting every month and not owning your media, you should definitely be handing it over to some developer on an app that you probably use every day. You know, just something, you know, food for thought. This is why I think Graphene OS has given me more than I could ever give back to them, because they give me a secure and free and open source operating system, and me throwing $5 to $10 to $15 them every once in a while, it means nothing to me, and I hope that it means a lot to them, and it continues the product. The problem is people are just so like brainwashed and delusioned into, you know, just renting everything to a certain degree. And it's going to be a culture shift that we're going to have to get to. But that's just how I view it. If you have the means to, and you are using something, that dollar you send to that streamer, that dollar you send to that developer, that dollar you send to that person that has given you an ounce of anything means more to them than you will honestly know. Trust me. But I digress. End soapbox story and rant. So here, we have a container set up now. So what do? You click on it. Oh, unreachable, JK. You have to do this. You have to bind 174. Here we go. Archive box based. So say I want to add. Archive box is a really sick site. So this is like one of the first things that I would say that would be good. Now, there is no super user. If you forgot your password, reset it here. Archive manage box. But you need to do this. And you're like, oh, how do I do this? Well, you have to go back to the terminal. If you're allergic to the terminal, then I don't know what to tell you. So we're going to clear out of this. I hate cluttered terminals. You are going to do sudo docker ex, like first docker. You got to do ps because you got to figure out which container you're going into. So sudo docker ex ec. That's what it is. It. That's, you're pretty much, it sounds counterintuitive, but you're going into, this is how you SSH into your containers, if you did not know. So if you learned something, make sure to tell me that you learned something in the comments. And if you don't learn something, tell me you didn't learn something as well, so that I know that you learned nothing. So that I know that you learned nothing, and then you have to put bash at the end of it. Continue to find out the fuck. What you mean, dog? Did I spell something? Did I do something wrong? CB 882D285287. Unable to start container process. Bash. Here's the first sudo docker ps. Oh, am I doing the wrong container? I am doing the wrong container. I'm retarded. That's why. I'm trying to bash into F23CCDEEF2C. No. C. There we go. Nope. Nope. We're going to clear that out. So, you're going to take this command, Box manage change. Oh wait, create. Docker. Oh yeah. I forgot. It won't let you. So you would do exit. Motherfucker. I forgot. I've made a super user before. God damn you. Huh. Hint, when using Docker, you must run the command docker run instead of docker. Print working directory, data, archive box. Or maybe this. Maybe that's it. Permission died. Oh, that's why. Motherfucker. Are you running archives on the right folder? Path there command to create. See, this is where the oopsies come from. Found in data. Oh, maybe I gotta. Data archive. Okay. Print working directory, data, archive box. The fuck? User local bin. Archive box manage create super user. No archive box indefines in directory / data. Are you running archive box in the right folder? CD path to your archive folder. Archive command. Maybe I can just create. Responsible to for create super users only now. Oh. F23 CCAD. Oh, I know. Oh, wait. What if I do like this? F. What did I do last time to create this? Where I didn't have to run it in Docker. I think I used it from Linux server. And I didn't use it in Portainer. There's the opera. What the fuck? The hell is that? Let me remove that. No. Interesting. I thought it was Linux server.io. Linux server IO that ran it from, so I didn't have to. And it created a server or. Oh, this is how I did. I just did it as a regular thing. Docker compose, Docker run, bash setup. Okay. Recommend. Install Docker on your system, which is. Make directory, okay. Archive box, read, edit, Docker command if needed after downloading. Okay, yeah. And you can ls in this Docker compose YAML. This I found was the easier way to run it than running it on Portainer. Username, leave blank to use archive box. A new archive box collection is initialized. 0 links, creating a new admin user for the web UI. We'll just do admin. Email address, no@balls.com. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be real. Password. Password again. Much easier. Setup, and it's dispensely. Okay, cool. And then sudo docker ps. Ooh. Oh no. I think that bitch tried to do. Next up, log into the. Ooh, yikes! I think that's going to cause a conflict of Portainer because of Portainer. 1.74. Damn that port. That port's really kicking my balls. Man. Why can't I? Why does everyone have to fucking use 8,000, man? Damn you, 8,000. Oh wait, I think I had to. I wonder if I do this. Oh. Sudo nano for you Docker compose. Look at this. Look at me using nano, guys. 81. Ooh, nano scary. Maybe I'll do this way. 8181. I think that's where I needed to do it. No? No? Maybe I gotta change the port. Damn. Damn these ports. What if I... Let me see if it's... No more ports? No more port problems? Data? Right. Is this bitch gonna be done? If not, that might not matter. It doesn't. Okay, until then. Oh, that's what it is. That's funny. You gotta love port 10. You gotta love port 8000. So we're gonna remove our archive box from that, and then we're gonna go to KeyWeeks. KeyWeeks is internet, offline, store anywhere, deploy the stack. And I forgot that this does not work. So KeyWeeks server is essentially what you kind of want to have access to the internet. Now you don't need, this would make it the portable perspective. So we could go to linuxserver.io. This is my favorite place to go as well. They have a huge list of stuff, but they don't have KeyWeeks. And that's okay. They have other stuff that you can install. So you could do DokuWiki, Content Manager, DOS staging, MB, fail to ban, Chat Social Ferdium is a desktop app that helps you organize how you use your favorite apps by combining them into one application. They have a ton of options. Libre Speed, obviously you won't need that. We need media, so we're gonna start, I guess, with media and avoid anything that uses port 8000. There's sync thing. Ooh, I know one. This is one that everyone can get behind. Files. There's FileZilla, there's PairDrop, there's PoneDrop, file sharing securely. You can even do browsers, but I think there is... God, the super user is so retarded that it makes you do it via command line. That's the only thing I hate about Archive Box, is it makes you do it via the command line. It should become modern and allow you to do it a different way. I think in the templates... Yeah, we know. file browser. .80.80. So we're gonna do the container 81.81. And these motherfuckers don't be thinking. We're gonna deploy, and it should work. File browser is pretty cool. So once you connect to the network, oh. No. Let's see. Permission denied. That's not good. Remove that. We'll do latest. Fix settings. What the fuck? You know what's weird? I've never had any problem with files. I literally did this like a week ago too. So we can't watch wikis. We can't watch. We can't watch this. We're gonna start with music then. So we're just gonna go to Jellyfin. .8096, .8096. Okay, beautiful. All ports that are available. Config apt shows DD. So obviously you want access to the media. The movies. I want to know what's wrong with this. I'll have to check that later. So you're going to go to Jellyfin. And it works. Server name. Big server. Username. Jellyfin. Password. Whatever you want it to be. Jellyfin's kind of like the easiest one to set up. Add media. Folder type. I would do home. And then movies. Simple. And then you could change like the volumes and like set the volumes like if you however you want. It's pretty simple. Then there is chat. I'd probably do something like Mumble. Mumble chat's pretty sick because it allows you to voice. So Linux server IO doesn't have it, so you can just go back to your templates. Murmur. Show advanced. No containers. They're smart. Very easy. So you can have a voice chat program with your friends that are connected, obviously, on this as well. That's another one. And then there's AirSonic. I would say music definitely is one of them. Or I think Nav is nice. Navdrome. This is a really good music server. So you want to keep adding stuff that you think that are going to be kind of difficult to obtain. So Navdrome. You're going to make a username, admin. You can just do admin for everything if you can. And then you're going to add music to this. You could do radio as well. Create a radio, name, stream URL, homepage, most played, etc., etc. You want to make sure that you are adding not only things that you use, but things that you think other people are also going to use. So Navdrome setup, Portainer is running. And you're just going to keep adding and adding. Now you have volumes over here that you can keep adding and adding and adding and adding, and stacks. You can keep adding and adding and adding and adding. I mean, the list goes on. There's Ansible. And then let's do get. Ooh, no, wait, hold on. There's an audiobook server. Actually, there's something even cooler. Something called Pwn Drop. Okay. Damn. No way. I got rickrolled. Oh, fuck, that's funny. No, that's so funny, man. That's hilarious, actually. We'll kill that. Wow, man, I got fucking jebaited. Move that. That's funny. Jellyfin works. FreeCAD, FileZilla. Blender, Chromium, Deluge. Deluge is cool. It's like a backup server. And you could even like do this without Portainer. You could set this up. You could set this essentially up without any graphical face. I've done it before. That's how sometimes I normally do it. No GUI. I'm just trying to think of the people that I like when I first started. So there's something called Forgio on the Raspberry Pi. Should work. Upgrade. Docker is installed. So we'll do sudo do Control C, and that if you do Control C, that will kill it. We'll do a YAML. Obviously, you would never do this. Then you do O for write, click enter, and then exit. Unlike Vim users. And this is if you want to hold all your Git repos somewhere else besides GitHub. YAMLs are pretty easy to fuck with. A lot of container maintainer people that make like containers for like Docker and stuff, they will quite literally make it super easy. You just copy and then you change some parameters and then you're good. Sudo docker ps Coburg 40. Okay, 3000. Jellyfin 3000. Okay, let's do. That's up. Look at this. If you run Forger inside Docker, please read the documentation before changing any settings. Forger requires MySQL, PostgreSQL, MSSQL, Light SQL, and MySQL protocol. Server third-party settings, administrator account settings. There we go. This is a lightweight forge that you can set up on the local end. Sign in or sign up. Probably should have. So you want to make sure this server name, this will start with the protocol, and then clicking the administrator account, you want to do create administrator. Unlike me, who did not create an administrator, but that's okay. You get the point. That easy to set up. Super cool, super intuitive. Need an account. Just do. No at oh. There we go. And then you have your repositories here. You have pull requests, you have milestones, you have export. It's completely built on Git. And then you have your settings. You have 2FA, 2FA security keys, OpenID access. You have your SSH keys, which this might not matter. That is something also that you can host everything. There's really no end to the hosting part. Now, I would say on the Portainer side, I have Forgio for my Git repository, so I could continuously host my code somewhere, especially if it becomes more difficult or proprietary software becomes more prevalent. I have Jellyfin, Navdome for my media, aka my music or my movies, and then I have Portainer, and I could continuously add to this as I go along. It doesn't have to be just on Portainer. It doesn't have to be just from the command line. So like you have options. You have Authelia, you have a CalDAV and a CarDAV server. That's really easy to set up. It's very based actually. And then you have the final one that I would say that's probably the most important is a BookSonic, a server app for streaming your audiobooks to any PC or Android phone. Most of the functionality is known available on the other things. I would say having the ability to listen to your books and everything is probably important, especially audiobooks. Audiobooks are kind of nice to have the ability to sit there and listen to. You can just go to your BookSonic. There you go. No context in the server match to handle that request, but it's here. You quite literally have you have a subsonic music streaming server. It started, and then you have a BookSonic. You have your username. You have your password. You have admin. Change your administrator password obviously at first. Set a media folder. Configure network. All super simple. You want to just keep adding to it. Self-hosting isn't as complicated as people make it out to be, especially if you have the available resources. Having the available resources gives you the option to be sovereign. Obviously, everyone's use case is going to be different. Everyone's going to have different needs and preferences to how it works, but you just need to start. Whether you're getting a Raspberry Pi, and that Pi is getting you to just buying a mini server, and that mini server just working. I mean, you can watch a million tutorials on how to do something, but doing is more important than actually watching the tutorial itself. The tutorial should just be as an inspiration. That's kind of like my insight and my thoughts on it. Some stuff works, some stuff does. Some stuff doesn't work as planned to be, and you have to go in and look through files, like config files, and look through network problems, etc., in order to figure out the issue. Because everyone's network is different, everyone's going to have a different experience. But I recommend people to start somewhere. Start with even just putting a flash drive of like your shit on there. That's a step forward into the right direction, and essentially is what's led me to be able to self-host. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to add up to the best solution. Now, I have sunk in about 2 hours of my time, guys. I appreciate you all coming by and listening to me rant. I appreciate everyone that likes, subscribes, and listens to my videos, whether they like, subscribe or not, or watch them later. And I appreciate everyone coming in. Don't forget to argue in the comments what your favorite type of burrito is, because have a good night, dude. Appreciate you sticking around. Remember to argue in the comments about what's your favorite burrito, and most importantly, to feed your snail and contribute to open source. I will see you guys in the next video. No worries.